Hey everyone, Cole here. This is my top 10 Christian rock / metal albums of 2019. Disclaimer, these are all my opinions, so if your favorite album of 2019 was not in my list, make sure to comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to also follow me on Instagram at iChristianRock. All these albums, to my opinion, are the best of Christian rock and metal from this past year, and I think all these artists worked really hard on them, and I hope you like my list. Enjoy the video. Starting off with number 10, we have Dawn of Destruction by The Persuaded. This is a newer artist from the City Rockfest family. 3 songs that mainly caught my attention off the album were The Fire, Forced Silence, and Lost Souls. The Persuaded is a very small band from the City Rockfest family, and I think that their album was very impressive. They are very young guys, so it was really cool to see what the smaller bands in the Christian rock community could do, and they did not disappoint with their very mature lyrics and their great instrumentals. I know this may surprise many of you, but Lovelier Killshot lands at top 9 for me. Lovelier Killshot was a little disappointing for me. I didn't enjoy the singles that much, but I did see them for their launch party. Their first show after their album release, and I really enjoyed a lot of the singles, and especially the songs that they were kind of the later parts of the album. It's not a bad album. I had a real high after Long Live the Rebels, because that album was just perfect in every way. But this album is really eye-opening, especially with Reanimate and how open those lyrics are, and just honest they are, too. I was like, you can tell Disciple had a lot of passion for this album. They really wanted to give something to the fans, and it's great to hear that they promised that they would never wait, 3 years for another album. They're really dedicated to their mission and pleasing the fans. So Disciple's definitely an artist of the year for me, and I do think this album is really great. I'm not sure if anyone guessed this one, but my number 8 album of 2019 is Repose by What We Do in Secret. What We Do in Secret is a Christian hardcore band out of Memphis, Tennessee, and they've toured with bands like Fit for a King, Norma Jean. They are part of Face Down Records, which has a lot of other great artists. Songs like 918, Home, and Blackout really caught my attention. There was a lot of brutal screams, great riffs, breakdowns, all you could have hoped for from a hardcore band. I feel that we don't have enough Christian hardcore bands as it is, so it was really refreshing to see a nice new fresh blood, I guess you could say, in the community. And these guys did not disappoint. They worked really hard on this album, and it's very hopeful to see for the future. And for one of my favorite albums of 2019, we have Disconnected by Nothing Left. Nothing Left is a supergroup, which is something that the Christian rock and metal community does not have at all. We have members from A Bullet for Pretty Boy, For Today, and even Silent Planet that have all come together and created an amazing album. Disconnect has some of the best riffs I've heard of 2019, and this album only came out 3 weeks ago, and this topped literally almost every album I've listened to. Some of the songs did happen to blend together a little bit, but a lot of them were unique enough and had such great breakdowns and riff to leave you wanting to keep listening to more. This is easily one of the most impressive albums I've heard all year. It's really one of those things where having a super group where it's just all your favorite bands come together and make such a great project is always impressive, and I am never going to get tired of listening to this album. Coming in at number 6, we have The Hope and the Loss of It by Empty. Empty is another small band that appeared this year, and honestly, this is my favorite album on an emotional level of 2019. Empty has some of the best lyrics I've heard. A lot of them talk about struggling with depression and loneliness, which is something that we all face in today's society. And they're very open with their lyrics. This album's very consistent, and it was one of those albums that was just a huge surprise to everyone because no one knew who these bands were or what they were about, and they came out swinging. I was like, it's a very consistent album, and I would highly recommend listening to songs like Slow Death, Chemist's Point of View, and The Hope and the Loss of It. So yeah, Empty, The Hope and the Loss of It is my number 6 album of 2019. I feel like I could have made a breakout video for this band because this is seriously one of my favorite albums of the year. Coming at number 5, we have War Torn by Strength Betrayed. I've known of Strength Betrayed for a while because they always tour with the guys from Relentless Flood and Set for the Fall, but this year they released their debut album, and let me tell you, it was one of the best albums I've heard this year. When I first heard War Torn, which is a song playing behind me, it was seriously one of the most impressive sounds. Thomas, the lead singer, is one of the best voices in Christian rock, and nothing compares to it. And let me just say, they have one of the best guitarists, I swear, in the Christian rock and metal community. This guy is a beast. And this album has great songs like War Torn, Vanity, Sour, Waiting. Literally, this album is so consistent. I highly recommend checking this out. It was seriously one of the most impressive albums I've heard this entire year. And that is why War Torn is my number 5 album of the year. And for the number 4 album of 2019, we have Shaped by Fire by As I Lay Dying. Many of you know the past of As I Lay Dying with the incident that the lead singer, I guess you could say, committed. Like from what we are told, he has found Christ, which is a great thing, and this album really is a album of redemption and talking about the hardships of life with songs like The Wreckage, Shaped by Fire, and Torn Between were songs that really stuck out to me because they really told the story of what they faced as a band, especially what the lead singer went through. For an As I Lay Dying album, this one is easily one of my favorites just because its consistency, and it just was a really redeeming album for the band. It was great to see them return back to their roots and just in general return as a band. Overall, it was just a great album, and it definitely earned a spot on my list for top albums of 2019. Many of you knew this one was coming. We have Eclipse by Wolves at the Gate. Eclipse is easily everyone's top 3 albums of 2019. This breakout album from Wolves at the Gate caught everyone's attention with singles like The Cure, Voice in the Violence, and especially Drifter. This is easily one of Wolves at the Gate's best produced albums with amazing lyrics and melodies, and let me tell you, they do not stop when it comes to creating a aggressive album with some of their breakdowns. Every time I've asked someone about what's their favorite album of 2019, every single person would at least have this said in maybe their top 3. This is one album that everyone could come together and really agree upon, say that it was just a great album. It's a really great example of the future of where Christian rock and metal is going, and it's one of those albums where you just cannot stop listening to. It is an addictive album. Alright, maybe it's because I'm a sucker for Wage War, but Pressure was my number 2 album of 2019. A lot of people thought this was a huge step back for the band, but it showed that they can do something else besides making, generic metalcore, as some people call it, generic-core. The best songs on this album were by far Who I Am, Low, Ghost, and then Prison. A lot of the songs that people didn't like were Me Against Myself, Hurt, Forget My Name, etc. Mainly the slower stuff. Cody does have a very pop-styled voice, so some of them did suit them. But I do hate Forget My Name. That song will never receive love from me. I refuse. But besides that, I think that this was one of the best albums of 2019 besides all the hate it has gotten. And Wage War has been widely accepted in the Christian metal community as one of their own, since a lot of the members are Christian. So they did earn the spot on my list on number 2. The time has come for my favorite album of 2019, Void by War of Ages. When you thought metalcore couldn't get any better, War of Ages dropped the best Christian metalcore album of the year, and to my opinion, the best album of 2019 for rock/metal. Literally, this album is incredibly consistent. The first half of the album is just a whole new adventure with when it starts out with The Watchers and Void. But then midway through the album, when it gets to Greed, Envy, and Wrath, it feels like a whole new album. It's so refreshing. They did really great with spacing these songs out and not letting you get tired of it. And they even ended it off with amazing songs like Jezebel and The Brotherhood, which were just amazing. It really made the album feel like it was so unique, and you never got tired of listening to it. I was not expecting War of Ages to get this far and this high up on my list, but this album really was just mind-blowing when you first hear it. It's just an impressive album. They put in so much work, and they are one of the most honest and faithful bands in the Christian community right now. They never have strayed away. They have always kept firm on their mission to spread the gospel. It is a beautiful thing to see, especially in the times that we live in with the world getting worse and worse every day. I hope this video just helps you to find some great music, and I hope it helps you find music that comforts you in dark times, as this is what music's about. I believe that God gave us music so we can have a way to connect with Him, and if you're like me, the entire church is about listening to like this really pop-styled music, and I feel like God gave us the ability to use our talents that He gave us, and He blessed us with these abilities, and I feel like rock and metal is where we thrive, and that is how I worship Jesus. I hope overall you enjoyed the video, and that you subscribe, stay in contact with me, and make sure you go check out these bands, listen to these albums, and even comment below what your top 10 albums of 2019 were. Till next time.